This is the eHealth Radio Network, your source for health advice on demand. And now your host, Eric Michaels.
Thanks for joining us once again here on the eHealth Radio Network. This is your host, Eric Michaels. Today we're speaking with Mr. Dustin Lee, the owner and president of Fidelis Sustainability Distribution, LLC. He's also a USMC Scout Sniper veteran and principal to discuss the role of FibroScan technology and what it has played in curing the Hepatitis C virus, or HCV, among the Department of Veterans Affairs. And Mr. Lee, thanks for joining us here today on eHealth Radio.
Eric, thank you, sir. I appreciate your time. Couldn't mean more to me to represent the veterans, to represent the VA, and also I have worked with the Ecosyn's FibroScan team for 8 years. Couldn't be more excited to be here and do this with you.
Well, I'm certainly honored to have you with us, Mr. Lee, and for joining us here today. So tell us, for starters, what are the challenges of treating liver disease among veterans? Let's start there.
Okay, Eric, and I appreciate that. That's a great question. But before I get into it, I'd like to create some demographic and geographical perspective for the listeners to better understand, the vast size of the VA. So the VA, currently there's 18 million veterans in the United States, to include Puerto Rico, Guam, etc., outside the United States. Over 9 million are utilizing the VA, which means over 7% of the U.S. population base are veterans. Now, what people don't understand, and this is a very heavy fact, that veterans are 30% sicker with chronic disease than their non-veteran counterparts. Also, as far as demographic-wise and in geographical space, less than 6.5% of veterans live in big cities. This leads us in the direction of there's over 170 main VA medical centers across the entire country, mainly in the larger to medium-sized cities. Now, how the VA is able to cover the entire vast United States, serving the veterans close to where they live, is with community-based outpatient clinics. And there's over 1,100 of those, and they serve in a hub-and-spoke fashion. So a number of community-based outpatient clinics roll up and serve the main VA medical centers. So it's the biggest hospital system in the world. It provides care to... It's also the fallback system for the regular population base, which we learned in COVID. So the VA is a huge infrastructure to serve a big population base in a very vast, even larger than the United States because of Puerto Rico and Guam and a few other outposts that the VA serves. So let's get to the question. What are the challenges of treating liver disease among veterans? Well, right from the information I just gave you there, Eric, it's access. The vast geographical responsibility of the VA to serve veterans across the country is a huge, huge job. Just in general, veterans are stubborn, more like our grandparents than the regular population base. They don't want to ask for help. They don't want to get seen. And then there again, this veteran population base in general, they're 30% sicker than the non-veteran counterpart. So we need to make... the VA and what FibroScan has done is they need to make treating the veterans efficient and easy. And that's how they do that with the FibroScan, is able to be put out in a community-based outpatient clinic. The test qualifying this particular liver patient and then sent back to the main VA for the lead infectious disease doc to analyze. More like a CEO managing an entire company more efficiently versus him touching every patient. So access is a big part of that. I know that was kind of a long-winded answer, but I could go on forever about this. I'm very passionate about FibroScan and veterans.
And with reason there as well, and really appreciate the groundwork set and the information and input shared on that first question to lead things off here today. Now, if you would, tell us, what is the connection between the Hepatitis C virus and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease?
So we could get really technical here, but again, in a lot of interviews, I find when you get overly technical, you lose a lot of your listeners' understanding. So if, at the end of the day, untreated, both Hep C and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease can lead to chronic liver disease, liver failure, and obviously, death if untreated. So that's your major connection. The FibroScan device helped eradicate Hep C, obviously, when it was a VA initiative in the past years, and I think we'll go over that more later, but it served its purpose nationally, covering patients efficiently and helping the Veteran Integrated Service Networks and the VA treat these veterans across the country efficiently, roll up all their data to give them the proper treatment plans to help eradicate Hep C. That's done. Hep C is nearly eradicated at the VA. Well, now they've got this infrastructure in place to be able to roll right into fatty liver disease once the FDA-approved drug comes out, and it will be an initiative at the VA, with it being almost 50% of the U.S. population base has fatty liver. So this condition is going to be about 5 to 10 times larger of a problem than Hep C itself.
I got to tell you, your input is quite interesting, and that's some helpful information as well. Thanks for that. Now, how did the VA eradicate HCV among the veterans?
So the VA gets a bad rap sometimes, and again, I'm a veteran, and I also, I could obviously get my health care anywhere, but I choose to go to the VA. The VA does an amazing job. They have the hardest job in the world to serve the sickest population base in the world, and they're doing a great job. So they took it as an initiative. For 2 or so years, it was a VA top, all the way from the top down, DC down, initiative to eradicate Hep C. So you got to give it to the VA, the head, just really hitting the problem really directly. The second thing is the VA invested heavily in their infrastructure with the help of Congress and a huge bulb of money to help better equip each of the VAs and the community-based outpatient clinics with the funding and equipment, which leads to FibroScan and EcoSense. There are FibroScan devices across the country at most all of the main VAs, if not more than one at each of the main VAs, as well as the community-based outpatient clinics. So again, the VA saw the problem, they hit it head on, they prepared an infrastructure, with EcoSense and a number, the pharmaceutical companies, and really came together to create a good treatment plan to get this eradicated quickly, and it was highly, highly successful. There was a great article in military.com, and I couldn't have been more proud to be a part of the team that was able to do that. It made us all feel really good, and it was an honor.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Good stuff. Today we're speaking with Mr. Dustin Lee, the owner and president of Fidelis Sustainability Distribution, LLC, a USMC Scout Sniper veteran and principal. He's been discussing the role of FibroScan and the technology and how it's played a big factor in curing hepatitis C virus among the Department of Veterans Affairs. He's joined us here today on eHealth Radio's Health News and Technology channels, a part of the eHealth Radio Network. Now, continuing on, Mr. Lee, why is FibroScan the VA's liver assessment tool of choice, and how many VA hospitals have purchased FibroScan so far?
Perfect, Eric. So I'll start with how many VAs. It's over 100 of 150 devices have been sold to the VA. In some cases, there's a few that have been at community-based outpatient clinics, as well as some put in kind of a mobile unit where there'll be a designated day or week, and it'll go out in the rural areas and qualify the different patients, and again, roll that data back up to the main VA. So they've almost 100% penetration. There's still some room, and obviously fatty liver will be such a bigger condition. It will likely require more of an infrastructure, but the VA has a good start. As far as why it's the liver assessment tool of choice for the VA. What people also need to understand is a liver biopsy, the liver can be massive, depending on the size of the body and the human itself. But a liver biopsy is a very small piece of the liver. So to assess the entire liver with just a little piece that's been biopsied out, it gives you a very small sample size of what the actual liver condition is. And then the other option potentially be, which really isn't an option, is ultrasound. It's just a picture. You can't assess liver density and health from a picture. Now, FibroScan with the elastography, it's able to give a liver density score, and it travels through the entire liver to assess the liver. It bounces off within the liver walls to give you the largest sample size picture score for a liver. So, in liver density itself, there's really nothing like it on the market, and I don't see anything taking its place. They just got a really amazing, simple platform. It's definitely the liver assessment tool of choice for the VA, just because there's nothing else that even gets close to it.
And that's certainly what I am understanding as well after speaking with a few representatives with the FibroScan technology. It's really, really doing an incredible job and quite an impact it's having in all regards. Now, speaking of which, what are the benefits of FibroScan for physicians treating veterans?
So I'd say, again, I like to keep things simple, and this device, as technical as it is, and the profound role it has in eradicating Hep C and soon really attacking fatty liver, is it's just the founder and engineers came up with such a simple interface. There couldn't be a simpler device. You can train a tech or a nurse or a primary care doc way out hundreds of miles away from the main VA and the lead infectious disease docs, and still assess that patient's liver over the course of time, and then also use that data to compare to all the other veterans, which will be a huge data point for liver health and research and studies for years and years to come. So it's just really simple. It doesn't require, for example, like in business, if a CEO has to pick up the phone every time, his business is never going to grow and he can't efficiently operate. Well, the same thing with FibroScan if you translate it into medicine. It's so simple that it allows the infectious disease docs to be a lot more efficient, serve a lot more patients, and just be more efficient with the veterans. And half of the battle with veterans is making it easy. You got to make getting care easy, or they won't do it. So again, the founder and engineers and the sales team of the EcoSense device, it was simple 8 years ago, but it just keeps getting simpler and simpler. So they've done a great job with that.
Mr. Lee, really appreciate your visit with us here today on behalf of Fidelis Sustainable Distribution, talking about the FibroScan technology. Before you go in conclusion, any closing thoughts, a final word, or anything else you'd like to add along the lines of our conversation today?
Again, the thing that I'd like to highlight is veterans are 30% sicker with chronic disease. So, our passion at Fidelis, obviously the same passion at EcoSense. It was a major initiative for both of the teams to really highly invest in supporting veterans in the VA and the U.S. military in general. So we couldn't be prouder, but just understanding that when you're dealing with veterans, they are as much as 30% sicker with chronic disease, and that's something that should really stick in people's heads when they're looking at a lot of the other conditions and problems of veterans. And it really has motivated our two teams and myself to really push and help as much as we can. So thank you so much for your time, Eric. Couldn't be happier to be on this team and the opportunity to speak on FibroScan and the VA.
And again, I certainly appreciate that as well. If listeners wanted to get more information on the FibroScan technology, where's the best place to get further details online?
Definitely go to the website. Call your local representative. I mean, that's the best way to do it. And that can all be given to you through customer service at EcoSense. So definitely go right to the horse's mouth, get to your local representative, and they can give you the real detailed stuff, maybe live within that same day.
Again, Mr. Lee, thank you so much for spending a moment with us here today on eHealth Radio. Again, folks, it is echosense.com. This link will be included within the show notes of this broadcast. Mr. Lee, thanks for joining us here today on eHealth Radio.
Eric, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a great day, and we look forward to serving more veterans in the future. Thank you very much.
And you as well. We've been speaking with Mr. Dustin Lee, the owner and president of Fidelis Sustainability Distribution, LLC. And for all the details on the FibroScan technology, once again, visit echosense.com. And again, this has been your host, Eric Michaels, and we do thank you for your continued support of the eHealth Radio Network. Join us again soon for another episode that will help further expand your knowledge on those things that are important to your health and wellness. For more eHealth Radio reports, we invite you to visit our main radio channel site at eHealthRadioNetwork.com. And as always, we do thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in to the eHealth Radio Network. For more information or to subscribe to this podcast, visit eHealthRadioNetwork.com.